Good afternoon. It is August 20th, 2026, and it's 3:22 in the afternoon. Today, so far, we haven't done a lot, to be honest. We have went to the gym, and we have got to cut light out this morning. We went to the gas station and I got 4 jugs of gas, because I know I need to mow soon, for one, and then for two, I needed gas in the side-by-side. So it had some in it, but wasn't full, so I don't really know how much it holds. Now I know it probably holds 6-7 gallons, I guess, because I put almost 5 in it, and it showed it had like a quarter of a tank, or eighth of a tank. I don't remember how the gauge works. Maybe it's a quarter of a tank. So I think I filled it up. We'll see when I turn it on. So I'm going to get the mail at the moment, and also check on Trash Saga, because we put the trash out Tuesday night. They did not get it Wednesday. Cans across the road are empty today, so maybe they got it. We'll find out. I gotta get the mail anyway, so I gotta do that. And this evening, well, not this evening, like 5:30. Well, kind of this evening, we're going to look at the one of the downtown cinemas. Now, there's 2 downtown that I went to as a kid, and as a kid, when you're in the passenger seat, you don't really know where you are or anything like that. So I never really knew which cinema I was in, because they're both kind of right near each other, which is a weird design now that I think about it. Looks like it might be done. It's definitely turned a different direction. Anyway, the only way I knew as a kid is one that I think they both had balconies. One had a balcony that went out over the top of the audience, so if you look up, you're looking at the bottom of the balcony. And then one had just a balcony in the back, so you look up and you see ceiling, and the balcony was behind you. Even, especially if you sit like in the middle. So I think, looking at some photos today, that we're going to the one that I liked, which was the balcony that came out over the crowd. Because I don't know why I thought that was a cool thing as a kid, but I did. And I think that's what we're going to today. And if that's the case, I'm not sure I've been in that one. I think I was in the other one. So we'll find out. Trash can is sideways. So why is it sideways? It's empty. So I guess Thursday's our day. I don't know. I guess I'm going to continue to take the trash out on Tuesday, and then we'll see. Maybe if they keep doing it on Thursday, then I'll just start taking it out on Wednesday. I don't know. Either way, I can't film and carry all the stuff, and plus the trash can's gonna be loud. So I'm looking back here now, trying to figure out, do I want to get started back here? And I might. I need to change my pants. So I may get started back here. And what I need to do is, I want these to be 16 on center. So, as you can see, right now they are 24 on center. This one is 17.5 on center. And that one is, come on, thing, about 20 on center. So They just did what they wanted to do back then, I guess, when they built this thing. I don't know what they're doing. But I want to put insulation in this because this is an outside wall. And I need to frame it up first. So I'll know, so I can easily, at least I had to cut some insulation for like down there. Obviously that's 24 on center. If I go 16, there's going to be a little small section. But I will have at least some part of it that I could just put the pieces in as there's the pieces of insulation in as they're intended, and only have to cut some of it. Right now I don't have any wide enough to even go in there, so yeah, that's the thing. What's this guy doing? He's just such a weird, like, what are they doing? I don't know. So I don't know, we may do that. But first I need to change pants. And then tomorrow, after stretch, walk class and stretch, my helper is coming over here and we're going to try to get the siding off. I'm going to get the siding off. She's going to start scraping. And then I'm going to start putting plywood up and try to get this window in. Frame the window in. So I don't really need to do it today, but it would save some time for tomorrow, because I could have that done. I also need to continue getting these staples up, but it's supposed to be cooler, as they say, starting tomorrow, because it is. I'm already sweating. I mean, I've been in here what 2-3 minutes and I'm already sweating. So anyways, that's where we're at.
Over the years, it later became the city shoe shop, and this side was the sanitary barber shop. In 1929, the sanitary barber shop hired a mural artist to come in, and on the walls they painted Warren Mountains, Warren Mountains, and the North Carolina mountains. That was in 1929. You learn a little bit. There was another movie theater down the street called the Columbia, which was a small theater. It grew so much, and they built this one. And it was going to be called the Columbia. When they decided to build a new theater, these two stores got relocated next door. Then they came in, and because of construction, we can tell what it looked like in 1930. So this was outside. The ticket booth was right here in the middle, if you're into the gym and canals. There were 3 glass doors here. This is the original scenery from 1922. This was the Stanley Soda Shop. This is where you bought your food and your drinks. You weren't allowed to take it into the movie theater. This side were 3 glass doors here that walked into, it sloped up. You can see the old floor, and then the new floor, it sloped up. This was all plaster. It's painted red with gold leaf tip on the end. Above this drop ceiling are 3 barrel vaults. You can kind of see the pictures on the side. See the 3 barrel vaults right there? So those are still there. They're just covered up. There's a yellow light fixture that you took down from there. So you walked, sloped up, and then the room got bigger. That was the ladies' lounge. If you can see on each side, there's a fireplace and furniture and the women's bathroom. So the women had their own place that they hung out. And if you see this flower ceiling right here, that's that exact square right here. So these are some of the flowers that have fallen over the years. So that was the women's lounge. Then you went through red velvet curtains to the foyer. There were 2 staircases on each side that went up 2 levels. The first level was the mezzanine. It was the men's smoking room and the men's bathroom. There was also a wall about this high with red velvet curtains called the standing wall. When the theater was full, you could stand behind the wall and open up the curtains and still watch the movie. When you get to the back, they'll tell you more about the back of the building. The floors were black and brown checkerboard mahogany, and this was ceramic tile. We found just enough in the dirt to find out it was 2 shades of brown, black and white. Over here's Fuzzy St. John, a movie star here in I think 57. You can see a little bit of the floor at the bottom. And there's a big display there. You can see all the stuff in here. 1937, the building caught on fire. The projection room, a policeman saw the building smoking, so they called it kind of in time. The balcony, the projection room fell to the balcony, and the balcony fell into the foyer. There were 2 firemen that were underneath the balcony when it fell, and the chairs saved their life because they kept before them falling on. The theater was closed for several months. They put in new seating, redid all the plaster, they changed the coloring to different shades of turquoise and pinks, and then reopened. 1948, they redid the theater again. I think that's when this orange and tan and yellow color scheme came in. 1960, they closed for 3 weeks. They changed it to the Center Theater. They dropped all the ceilings, put in slate floors. The ticket booth was here. You can see they lowered the ceiling, and the ladies' lounge became the candy store, or the candy stand. So, anyway, so that's what this looks like now. So, you guys are going to swap with the group out there. You can take your hard hats off. And, any quick questions?
I remember when they had this
So imagine, I'm going to take it back to 1922. Imagine 2 small storefronts right here. 221 West Main, 225 West Main.
You ever come here as a kid?
East Main, West
I didn't know
Main
Albemarle existed.
was a men's clothing store, Mara Little Company, and 225 was a fine jewelry store.
Here's some video of that.
225 became school. 225 became the sanitary barbershop. 1926, the barbershop went a major renovation, and they had hand-painted murals of Mara Mountains, Uwari Mountains, and the Blue Ridge Mountains. At that time, it was described as the most spick and span day rum parlor in Albemarle. News broke on May 6, 1930, that read, Bile Smith family to erect building for Columbia Theater. Benton were theater architects from Wilson, North Carolina, and they were hired to design it. And a newspaper article said that it was to be built for $50,000, and J.D. Harwood being the general contractor. By 1930, those original shops that sit right here had been moved to either end, and those former spaces were the lobby for the Stanley Soda Shop and the movie theater. A brand new structure of steel and brick were built right behind them to hold 700 theater goers. Over the years, they may have had 3 different marquees. The first marquee was metal, and it hung from the front wall covered in fabric and had the name on the awning fabric. On December 1st, 1933, the Stanley Theater, the headline in the paper was, Stanley Theater now has neon signs. The marquee was increased by 2.5 feet, and the word Stanley was written on each end, and blue, red, and green neon made it a brilliant display at night. It remains uncertain if that was the well-remembered triangle marquee that was added on even at a later date. This theater opened on December 1930, and admission cost 10 cents for a movie. We're still uncertain why this was called the Stanley Theater instead of the Columbia Theater as originally planned. Tragically, it would burn in 1937, and it was totally renovated, and the first film when it opened was The Girl from Paris. It had a second renovation in 1948 with new drapes, new seating, new tile bathrooms, making it one of the nicest in the state. The Stanley closed on December 18, 1960 to be fully remodeled, and that's going to be the one that most of us old-timers remember. I'm not calling you an old-timer, David.
The Stanley Theater sticks in my mind.
So the newly remodeled Center Theater opened on October 7, 1960, and the film started in Naples. October 7th brought another change when they changed it from the center, from the Stanley to the center. On the tour, you should get 2 QR codes. There are 2 local documentaries that were filmed around that time. They're both on YouTube. One was called Kidnappers Oil by Melton Baker, and they were 150 local boys and girls featured in that film. And they showed the film here, and it brought the entire town to see themselves on the big screen. Eventually, this theater went dark on January 30th, 1981, and it served as churches and storage for furniture store.
I wasn't bored when it closed, Jack.
For Stanley Construction Services.
Fair.
They're trying to study what's the best use. You'll see on the inside, there's not much left to it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. But you know, the town needed a really nice movie theater. So about 1921, the Standard News and Press had an article saying a new theater was coming, and it was going to come in this space. In March of 21, the theater opened under the leadership of C.A. Smith as president, John Cheek as vice president, and B.A. LaFou as, I won't say that name, as general manager. They officially dubbed it the Columbia Theater, and the first film in March 1921 was the film What's Your Hurry, was the opening theater. And of course, it was a silent movie, as all of them were at that time. They outfitted the house with the finest of furnishings, the best they could find. The piano was said to be cost more than all the some of the fancy decor. They wanted the patrons to feel like they were visiting a grand big city theater facing this direction. So to add more seats, they went to the back. At the same time, they added a big electric sign that illuminated Main Street and was the brightest thing up and down. Everybody could see the theater from a great distance away. In 26, they also celebrated their 5th anniversary by free movies for everyone. So that was a big deal, getting to that. Now, you will really appreciate this today. In August 28, they installed a state-of-the-art cooling system. Can you imagine how everybody around loved that? And it was installed by the American Blower Fan Company. You're sweet, I've got it. Thank you. And in the fall of 28, the big orchestral fund, which was hailed as the world's finest amplified music system, was installed. It was fully operational from a small booth in the rear of the building, and an operator, again, remember silent movies, would sit there and change the records based on the mood he saw in the movie going on. You know, didn't have a set thing. And because of the wiring that went throughout the place, so I think we would call it surround sound. It was very impressive. In February of 29, the theater featured a special screening with local history. You can now find it on YouTube. It's a short film celebrating the Swift Island Bridge. If you ever walked by the History Center and seen the public art out front, it's the Swift Island Bridge and information about that. Okay? In January 1930, talkies came. So they had to completely rework the sound system to suit the talkies. And the very first talkie film with perfectly synchronized sound. But even the talkies couldn't save them. Around the very end, December of 1930, they showed the last film, which was called Lightning, and the Standard News and Press announced that a much better, nicer movie theater was coming, which is the one you just left up there. So you can see not really any signs of the Columbia left, but it was the first here before the Stanley was built. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I wish I could make it.
It's your last stop. I know, right? So a couple of things. They are requiring everyone to throw on the helmet or the hat. So if you'll just grab one of those before you step in, you can go right in there. Up to 2 people at a time is what's allowed for safety concerns. But I'm going to kind of go over it. As I'm going over it, you guys feel free to kind of go take a look. You can see some of the stuff I'm talking about. I'm going to start with one little bitty piece. Right over here where this used to be the Columbia Theater, right above where the band just pulled, you can see the mix-match brick. And that right there is actually where they used to house the projection booth that was for that theater. Okay, I've got a picture. I'm just going to kind of pass that around. It's an older picture, so it is a little harder to see, but you can see it from the back. Let's see. All right, so when you guys go to step in there and take a look, you're going to be looking at a big room. It's 50 feet wide by 95 feet long. It was built, you'll see it's got really strong steel beams, tons of brick that held everything up. That's still there. When guests left the ladies' lounge, which you can kind of see part of, They entered the main hallway through 3 big openings with rich red velvet curtains. Stairs on both sides had iron handrails that led up to the balcony, the men's room, and the projection room. Separating the hallway from the main seating area was a railing topped with polished brass and a red velvet curtain. When the theater was completely packed, they opened these curtains so standing guests could still catch the movie. Up above an open cutout on the mezzanine level, you can let people look right down into the hallway below. Inside the main room, you stepped into the room itself. There was soft carpet that lined the aisles. On opening day, the air vents on the walls had metal covers stamped with the letter S and pretty drapes hanging underneath. At the foot of the stage sat the orchestra pit for the musicians, which you can see the cutout. It's on the right-hand side by the stage. I know, I got it. Alright, when the theater was completely packed, they opened these curtains so that the standing guests could still watch the movie. Stepping into the room itself, the soft carpet lined the aisles. At the foot of the stage, the orchestra, the wall around that was lit up by 63 top lights and 46 floor lights. The stage was draped in heavy red velour, flanked by 2 painted posts made to look like fine marble topped with profiles of Greek soldiers. The light fixtures were built close to the surfaces, casting a soft warm glow across the room. The new room was designed to hold 661 people total, 474 seats downstairs and 187 up in the balcony. Special attention was given to light and to guest comfort. The building ran over 300 lights and electric motors, and it was fitted with plenty of safe emergency exit doors. They fine-tuned the sound using special boards made of pressed sugarcane fiber placed underneath the chair rails. You can still see portions of the original material inside today. For heating and cooling, a large air system pulled fresh, cool air into the building through a concrete duct running right underneath the stage. Up top, the projection room was built with heavy concrete floors and metal-lined, fireproof walls to safely house the movie machines. On February the 6th, 1939, a city police officer named Charlie Dry saw smoke coming from the theater and quickly called the fire department.
Cool.
Firemen rushed over in 2 fire trucks, concrete slab, 2 projection machines, and other equipment crashing down to the floor below. Falling plaster rained down onto the seats, and water used to put out the fire heavily damaged the stage. Falling debris hit the firemen, and 2 barely escaped. Estimates said it would take 60 to 90 days to repair the destruction. The big restoration brought entirely new plaster, fresh carpet, a rebuilt projection room, and brand new seating. Crews also put up fireproof drapes and curtains while making layout changes to the office area. Following the rebuilding process, the theater officially reopened on April the 13th, playing the movie The Girl from Paris. When the theater closed on September the 16th, 1960 to undergo major renovations, one of the biggest changes made was permanently closing off the balcony. Alongside this shift, brand new gold-colored stage curtains were hung, complementing the updated interior. It reopened as the Center Theater on October the 7th, 1960, with the movie It Started in Naples. An event unfolded on May the 17th of 1985 when the 1960s drop ceiling installed beneath the balcony unexpectedly fell. The collapse pulled back the decades to reveal the intact, highly detailed 1939 plasterwork that had been carefully tucked away following the historic fire. Through time and weather, structural shifts have tested these old walls, from clogged downspouts to the removal of the historic marquee on September the 20th of 91. The story of Main Street's movie palaces remains deeply written into our downtown. As the local paper captured back on December the 19th of 1920, the Stanley Theater begins operating tonight. The immense building with towering walls, its carpeted aisles, and softly glowing lights and stately entrance, ready to unveil its future history as the days are checked off the calendar of time. Almost 100 years later, hopefully the theater has a bright future that can be added to the calendar of time.
Okay, well, that was the theater tour, and got another one next month, and I think one in October.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What was your thoughts on it?
I thought it was really cool.
Thought I was going the right way, and I was not. Still a water bottle there. It's a corkscrew. Yeah. It was exactly as I expected, which was a little bit unorganized, just because, you know, it's the first one. But it was hot.
I didn't anticipate the next one being any better.
It was hot. God, it was hot. But it was pretty cool. We got a walkie walk. We might as well walk.
Okay.
We can make it.
Bookie.
12 seconds.
Again, 9, 8, 7.
So I didn't do anything today other than get fuel.
I bottled 2 barrels.
That's all I did.
By myself. Not your job.
But yeah, that's been our day. And tomorrow we got walk class, stretch class, and maybe that's it. So probably get back on the farmhouse tomorrow. But
maybe pool tomorrow.
maybe pool. Sorry, trying to get my gimme to come on, gimme. There we go. Get some of these downtown sights of downtown.
The nothing that is
Yeah,
downtown.
like that building. Like, what's above that? What's above any of this stuff? I don't know. So anyway, that's the vlog for the day. Bye.
Bye.
Got a ducky. Somebody left me a ducky.
Oh, it's a punky duck.
Punky duck.
Punky.
Uh huh.
T.
He's got like a little hoodie on.